Thank you, President, and I'd like to welcome Madam Nouy to our committee again. Can I ask her, firstly, she says that the banks that have been mentioned with capital shortfalls must present to the SSM, I think the 9th of November, their plans for how they're going to resolve their difficulties. What comments will the Single Supervisory Mechanism make following those plans? Because obviously people will want to know on the transparency principle what are contained within those plans. And what comments will you be making following those plans? That's my first question. Secondly, I'd like to ask two domestic questions. And Ireland has had more stress tests of its banking industry than probably any other country for understandable reasons over the course of the last number of years. But one of the banks, Permanent TSB, has some capital shortfall position, notwithstanding the fact that they have put a huge amount of capital in the first 6 months of this year. But in terms of Permanent TSB and other banks, do you see it as your role to work with the banks in trying to resolve legacy issues that may arise? In this case, the problem of the overhang of the tracker mortgages, for instance, on their balance sheet. And for instance, do you have discussions with the ECB in how that legacy issue can be resolved so that the bank could work out their difficulty in the medium term? And I'd be interested to know what discussions occur between your board and the ECB on that issue and how that issue is going to be resolved. And finally, can I ask you on, you recently intervened in support of the Irish Central Bank's position that a minimum of 20% deposit is required for new lending of new homes. You said earlier that you have to recognise the difficulties that countries which went through economic difficulties had in terms of their banking system. Should we not take a more flexible approach in circumstances where there has been no new homes built or where first-time buyers are effectively priced out of the market?
The capital plans that the bank will have to deliver by 10 November, we convey a message which is it's a capital shortfall, though it means that we expect capital to be a large part of the coverage of the shortfall. And if it's not totally equity issuance, it has to be a simple solution, not complicated solutions. And it has to be consistent with the profitability of the banks. For example, buying instead of equity contingent capital with a high coupon is not a solution for a bank which is not highly profitable, which is most of the time the case of the banks that have capital shortfalls to cover. This being said, we are waiting to see what the banks will present, but that's the principle. We expect solutions that will make the bank safer, sounder, and more profitable, not less profitable. Regarding Permanent TSB, indeed, it has a capital shortfall as published, but I am confident that a solution will be found. I believe the current management is working hard to find an adequate solution. And regarding the situation of mortgages, indeed, I was asked whether I was supportive of the measures taken by the Central Bank of Ireland, which ask for a certain level of loan to value for the real estate mortgage, maybe low loan to income as well. And I said that I was supportive. I am supportive. In fact, I have grown up, if I may say so, in a country where this was just normal mortgage. And I think it's probably less difficult, less painful for a possible borrower not to be able to immediately buy real estate asset, flat, a house, than to be able to buy it, but then not be able to face the commitments that are going with this acquisition. We have seen with the subprime crisis in the US that a number of people were more poor after this kind of acquisition than before. So lending has to be prudent. Otherwise, you hit the soundness of the banking system and you create very serious difficulties for the households that are not able to meet their requirements.
Thank you. Next speaker is Jakob